shoulders of most of the rest of us.
And back in the 1970s, Vint Cerf, now at Google, and his colleague Bob Kahn did just that when they helped create the Internet, ingeniously interconnecting existing networks and, this is crucial, welcoming users to build more.
I wanted everybody in the world to have access to this.
This earth-shaking innovation touches just about everything we do today.
I'm not the visionary that I think geniuses represent. I'm an engineer. I like to make things work.
Part of genius is having a type of vision that then spurs others to do great things. It's hard.
Which is why, says author Walter Isaacson,
A lot of my
Vint Cerf is a genius.
If I pull out my phone and you see everything from Uber apps to Airbnb, it's all because that was enabled by a common set of protocols that said anybody can create.
Genius is a word that gets tossed around a lot these days. Has it suffered from word inflation?
Absolutely. We slap the word genius on people who are just really smart, but we all know that smart people are a dime a dozen. Being a genius means you gotta be creative and imaginative. Steve Jobs would say, think different.
Isaacson's written biographies of such geniuses as Da Vinci, Einstein, Ben Franklin, and the late co-founder of Apple. You spent a lot of time with Steve Jobs. Did you feel like you were in the presence of a genius?
I felt I was in the presence of somebody who could connect art to technology, and that gave him an ability to understand how beauty matters.
A key component of genius, according to Isaacson, uncontainable curiosity. You're a sixth grader growing up in Hawaii, and you see a plant. What happens?
I see a plant, and I wonder to myself, how did that plant land on this remote island in the middle of the Pacific?
Jennifer Doudna grew up to become a biochemist at the University of California at Berkeley. We spoke via cell phone. Obviously, you were a very curious kid.
Well, that could be interpreted in different ways, but, but yes.
Doudna co-discovered a technique for editing genes, known as CRISPR.
I think CRISPR is best described as a surgical tool for changing the code of life.
With CRISPR, terrible diseases might one day be eradicated. Walter Isaacson says you're a genius. How does that feel?
I don't think of myself that way at all. I love building teams and putting groups together that I think collectively do work that's better than any of us would do individually. And I really enjoy the process of discovery.
Collaboration and discovery. Dynamics clearly at play with Wynton Marsalis and his orchestra. What does that feel like when it's working?
Feels unbelievably great. If you can get into that moment of improvising, they all can hear it, you have to make yourself stop playing. Because it feels so good, you don't want to stop.
The co-founder of Jazz at Lincoln Center is the first artist to win Grammys for both classical and jazz. Marsalis says he doesn't know where his talent comes from.
This is a spiritual thing that we don't know. Nobody can explain a person like Bach or Shakespeare or Duke Ellington. You don't know why.
Do you think it's visited on you?
I think it's something you interpret that passes through you, like an understanding. Because you could get into a state and you don't even remember what it was. It just comes to you.
An inspired state, says Walter Isaacson, that geniuses of all disciplines understand.
Einstein would say that he was very much of an artist. When he had trouble figuring out the field equations that went into general relativity, he'd pull out his violin and play Mozart, saying that Mozart helped him connect with the harmonies of the spheres. And so, yes, you have to understand the beauty of math, and for that matter, the mathematics of beauty.
Marsalis recalls talking with world-famous architect Frank Gehry about Gehry's design work.
And we're talking about form, logic, a certain type of lyricism, how you combine and integrate different things to come up with an innovative idea.
In a situation like that, both of you are talking about both architecture and music.
They're the same thing.
And if you're wondering if you're living with a future genius, another Marsalis, Surf, or Doudna, here's some advice.
I think if you've got a genius or a creative kid, you never want to knock out the curiosity and the sense of observation and that sense of wonder about why the sky is blue.